1st of June, Rabbi Moore, Parsha Hashavua, Behaalosecha with Rashi.
Hello.
Hello, Rabbi. How are you?
Baruch Hashem, very good.
Good to hear.
Hello, Yechiel.
Sure.
I
What's
don't
the
see you, and I don't see Meir.
what's the
Now you see. Okay. Now,
chapter and verse? Chapter and verse finished with
yeah.
10 verses 10 and
There you
chapter 8 verse 10 was ending yesterday.
I would like today, in light of what you asked me yesterday, Lou, to learn a bit towards the end of the Parsha.
go. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to go to the story of Miriam?
Yeah. Let's do the story of Miriam. I was actually thinking of something else, but let's also do the story of Miriam. Yeah. Chapter Yud Beis.
Good base. Aleph? Parsha?
Chapter Yud Beis,
Pasuk Aleph?
Pasuk Aleph. Meir, please start. Yeah, right at the Yechiel, at the end of the Parsha, we're going to. We skipped to chapter Yud Beis, chapter 12.
Okay, so it says, "V'tidaber Miriam v'Aaron b'Moshe al odot ha'isha hakushit asher lakach ki isha kushit lakach." Okay, so let's see. So Miriam and Aaron said, spoke, okay, about Moshe. Al
Oidos. Regarding.
Regarding, okay, the Cushite woman, which he took.
The Cushite woman
He took as a wife,
whom he had taken, literally, whom he had married.
Who had married, okay. Isha Kushit Lakak, because he married a Cushite woman.
Right, now, it seems a bit superfluous to mention what we're saying. Isha Kushit Lakak. I mean, okay, Rashi's going to dwell on that.
Okay, so it says, let's see, but Tidaber spoke. Ein dibor b'chol makom ela lashon kasha. So let's see. Ein dibor. It's not the
term
word.
Dibor, right? Everywhere it's mentioned, Dibor is an expression of a harsh expression.
Oh, okay. Lashon kasha. Okay.
Similarly, it says,
Okay, Diber Ish Adonai Haaretz.
Adonai Haaretz Itonu
Adonai.
Koshois.
Okay, it's a quote.
The man who is the master of the land spoke with us harshly.
Oh, okay. Okay. Ve'ein amira b'chol makom ela lashon tachanunin. So what? And the words amira in everywhere, all places. Are not a lashon or a language of supplication.
Right. Amira, meaning saying, I guess we translate it, rather than speaking.
Mhm.
Amira always indicates an expression of, how should I say, tachanunim, supplication.
Okay. V'chein hu omer, and so it says.
Similarly, Vayoma, it says, Reuben,
V'yomer olna achai tareu.
my brothers, please do not cause harm.
Oh, okay. That's one. Okay. Vayomer shimuna divarai. He said, please listen to me. Or literally hear my words, I guess.
Right.
Kol na lashon bakasha. Okay, so
Is a question of bakosha. That's what it says. Shimu no dvorai. Please listen to my words.
Okay. Okay, so it says Vita Tidaber Miriam v'Aaron. So Miriam and Aharon.
Oh, by the way, I just realized this passage is not about, not me, my brethren. That's talking about Lot was speaking to the people of Sodom. Okay.
Oh.
Anyway, Rashi is saying over here that Miriam and Aaron spoke harshly against Moshe. Now Rashi is going to explain what that was.
Okay, he patcha b'dibor techila, so she started speaking first.
Conversation, yeah.
Okay, lefikach hikdima hakatuv, and therefore the Torah put her first. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, the woman's first in this case. Okay. Uminayin Aita Yodat Miriam. And from where was
where did Miriam know?
Peirash Moshe min ha'isha.
Piresh Moshe min ha'isha. That Moshe Rabbeinu had separated from his wife.
Oh, okay.
Meaning he no longer had marital relations with her. That's the idea over here. As we're going to see.
Oh, okay. So it says Rabbi Natan Omer. So this is Rabbi Natan. Miriam Haita Vitzad Tzipora. So Miriam was at the side of Tzipora. B'sha'ah shene'amar l'Moshe. When she
was told to
Moshe. Okay, Eldad umeidad meet nab'im b'machaneh. Okay, that Eldad and Meidad were saying prophecies in the camp.
Right. So Moshe Rabbeinu received the message that Eldad and Medad were prophesying in the camp.
Okay.
Okay? That means they had the power of prophecy.
Right.
When Tzipora heard this,
Oh, okay. Amra, she said, O le nishotehen shel elu. Oi is the wives of these.
right, means woe to the wives of these, of Eldad and Medad,
They died. Okay.
im heim niskokim lenevuah,
Oh,
if they are required to give prophecy.
oh, okay.
Why?
Sheyihiyu porshin min nishotehen. Oh, because they will be separated from their wives.
Kederech,
Derek sheperush ba'ali mimenu. In the way that my husband separated from me.
right.
Okay. Umisham yada Miriam. And from there, Miriam knew.
knew.
Okay, v'higida Aharon, and she told Aharon. Okay, Uma Miriam. What's that? Uma Miriam, and what is Miriam?
No. Uma Miriam Shalaniskav Leneganoise Kach Nenshaw. And if already Miriam, who did not intend to denigrate Moshe, her kavanah was by telling over to Aaron that we should do something about this. It's not a good situation.
Right.
Okay, so she was, should we say, miskaven letoeles. Okay.
Okay.
Nevertheless, she was still punished. Certainly, somebody denigrates somebody else, then for sure he's going to get punished.
He's going to get punished. Okay. Wow. Okay. Next Rashi.
Yeah. So the question is over here, what's going on? Was Moshe right in separating from his wife? Was Tzipporah's statement a correct statement? I mean, we're going to see over here that L'chayra, Miriam and Aaron's taina, Miriam's taina was, what do you mean? We ourselves, Miriam herself was a Neviah, a prophetess, and Aaron's also a Navi, right? And we haven't separated from our spouses. Why does Moshe have to have separated from his spouse? So the taina was, if Moshe, the fact he's a Navi, is not essentially required him to separate from his wife. So why did he do so? That's what Miriam's question was. Wasn't this a question? She kind of blamed Moshe. He did something which he shouldn't have done. Otherwise, what was the problem over here?
Rabbi?
Yeah?
Where are you getting this explanation from?
From the Parsha Pshat.
That.
How else do you understand what's going on here?
Well, I mean, I understand that she was concerned about Moshe's decision, but all of these details about her thinking.
Oh, about whether why, because you see, Rashi mentions this later here. Plus, if you go into Pasuk base, Pasuk says, "Vayomer harak ach b'Moshe diber Hashem alo gabonu diber vayishma Hashem." And look at Rashi says, "Harak ach imo levado diber Hashem alo gabonu diber v'lo pirashnu b'derech eretz
Okay, so she said, she spoke with us as well.
And
And you're basing
we
it on
didn't
that.
need to separate from our spouses.
Where does it say that?
Rashi says, "V'lo pirashnu miderech eretz."
Where do you see Rashi saying that,
What does that mean? V'lo pirashnu miderech eretz.
Verse 2, Lou. Look at
Verse
2.
2.
verse 2?
Right at the end of Rashi.
There's two little small Rashis there. The second Rashi.
Okay, oh, okay, that we did not part from the derech eretz.
Which means they still continued, even though both Miriam and Aaron were on the level of prophecy, they were both prophets, nevertheless, they didn't cease to cohabit with their spouses.
Okay, I see.
So it seems obviously Miriam, so it seems a little bit strange exactly what's things. What is she assuming? That Moshe Rabbeinu did this of his own bat to separate from his wife? I mean, it says that Moshe was nothing that Moshe did that was not a P that what HaKadosh Baruch Hu had told him. So all of a sudden now Miriam's making this I don't know how to best put it, damning assumption that Moshe Rabbeinu is doing something over here which is not up here Hashem.
Well, perhaps, perhaps, and that's not the explanation. Perhaps the explanation is that since Zipporah said, "Oi," then that makes it seem that Zipporah was unhappy. Perhaps Miriam was concerned about Zipporah, and she wanted Aaron to apprise Moshe of the fact that Zipporah was suffering here, and that maybe he should do something.
Okay, so let's assume it's one of two scenarios over here. So if Moshe Rabbeinu was doing it off his own bat, right, then I can understand that Miriam has a tie over here. I mean, a man can't do such a thing. As we know, a man has three basic obligations to his wife, which are she'er, kisus, ve'oina, which are food. He has to provide her with food. That's she'er, kisus, clothing, and oina, conjugal obligations. Right? Now, the husband's not allowed to make a decision unilaterally to stop any one of those three things. And in fact, if he does that, the wife can come along. It's grounds for divorce. So therefore, that's Miriam's time. No, it's Koloid. She hadn't heard, as you said, could well be that she hadn't heard from Tzipora. First was Mashman Rashi. She wasn't aware of that situation, right? That they had ceased to have conjugal relations. Moshe and his wife had ceased to have conjugal relations. She wasn't aware of that till Tzipora told her. That seems, first of all, number one. And number two, as you say, that Tzipora was unhappy about it. If it's been, should we say, unanimous, cooperative decision between the two of them, been a joint decision between Moshe and his wife to cease having the relations, then technically it's allowed to be. They can do such a thing. Man and woman, and marry a husband and wife, whatever reason they decide we want a break or whatever, they can decide between them as long as it's a honest, full agreement between the two sides, they can do that. But as you said, she's saying, Oi, mashma that Tzipora was not happy about the situation. But this is all if assuming that Moshe Rabbeinu had made the decision off his own bat.
No,
But
not
if Akash
necessarily.
Baruch told
That's
him
my
to do
point.
so, then
Add into it, but that's not necessarily the explanation.
so what is? I just want to say, what are you offering an alternative explanation?
Yeah, I'm saying Miriam understands that Hashem told Moshe to do it, but she's concerned that the way he's doing it is causing suffering to Zipporah.
Okay, but I'm saying, give an example. Let's say, for instance, I'll give an example. A mitzvah pigeon shvui, right? Or a certain person, a man has to go leave for something which is pikuach nefesh. It's got to save somebody's life. And the result of that, a person has to leave home for a few days. Is it acceptable that his wife will say, well, no, I want you to stay home? Is that an acceptable taina? It's pikuach nefesh. The man is obligated to save. In order to save a life, he's obligated to leave home.
What if he leaves home and he doesn't tell his wife he's leaving, and she's
1 second.
she doesn't know where
That's
he
something
is?
else.
What?
That's something else. But he's not. He's a Moshe Rabbeinu. Obviously, told his wife,
That's
because
not
I'm going to
something
say
else, Rabbi.
Hashem has told me.
That's the point.
Hashem has told me to be in constant preparation to talk to him. Therefore, the situation arises that we have to be separated. This is what Hashem told
Moshe
him.
didn't say that.
How do you know?
I don't.
It's very strange to say that Moshe Rabbeinu was of such a thing that he just did it without telling his wife.
Well, that's Miriam's concern. Why is Zipporah?
That's what because Moshe Rabbeinu didn't tell his wife. I don't know. It doesn't seem that.
Well, tell me why.
The actual situation was the problem. The situation was the problem.
Why is Zipporah unhappy?
Because it's not a comfortable situation.
But if she knows that it's the will of Hashem,
you're
she's
right. Okay.
happy.
So that's the question now. So what is pshat in Zipporah's taina? Woe to the wives of these men. And this is what Hashem wants. This is what Hashem wants. How can we question what Hashem's decisions? Hashem has deemed these men to be ready for Nevuah. By the way, there's also another point, is that the Chayra, Tzipporah's assumption, right, by saying woe to the wives of these men, Eldad and Medad, is not true. Because Haraya, this is what Miriam's saying. She should have gone back to Tzipporah and said, excuse me, Tzipporah, you're mistaken. You think because Moshe Rabbeinu, because your husband is a Navi, therefore that's why he's separated from you, and therefore these Naviim now, these people now being endowed with the power of prophecy, they're going to separate from their wives? It's not true. Because Miriam says, I'm a prophetess, and my brother Aaron is a prophet, and we never separated from our spouses. So the assumption is incorrect.
So Miriam says, I'm a
so the chayra, the source of the should we say misunderstanding or comprehension of Miriam of the situation is that Moshe Rabbeinu was on a different level of prophecy than all other prophets. And herein lies and Tzipora also assumed so. And herein lies and that's what Akash Baruch Hu tells Miriam and Aaron later. He tells them quite clearly. He says in him, Pasuk Vov, Akash Baruch Hu speaks to Miriam and Aaron and Miriam. Listen to my words. If there will be prophets like you, right? Hashem, Bamara Elo Besfada. He appears to him in a vision. I speak to him in a dream. Right? Not so my servant Moshe, in all my household, right? He is faithful. I speak to him mouth to mouth. Umareh with a direct vision and not with how do I say it? Chidos, not in riddles. I'm not sure. I think I gave a better translation than that. Just 1 second. No, I don't have it here. Hold on. Anyway. And why weren't you afraid to speak against my servant Moshe? Meaning, why weren't you done him lekav schus? Why didn't you judge him favorably? That what he did was according to what Hashem told me. Well, Hashem told him, and the reason is because Moshe Rabbeinu's level of prophecy is a totally higher level of prophecy than any other prophet. That's what Moshe Rabbeinu is telling Miriam. So therefore, you can't make any comparison between your level of prophecy and Moshe Rabbeinu's level of prophecy. Moshe Rabbeinu, on his level of prophecy, had to separate from his wife. But you and Aaron, and who had in Eldad and Medad, they're not going to be required to separate from their wives. So this is exactly what Miriam's misunderstanding of the situation. She thought that Tzipora was correct in her assumption that Taka, Eldad, and Medad are going to have to separate from their wives, because this is kind of, if they follow Moshe's example, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Miriam, no, that's not so. Moshe Rabbeinu is in a totally higher level of prophecy, and therefore he was required to separate from his wife. And I mean, Rashi doesn't mention that straight out. There's the Parsha, but the implication is that the HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying, I told Moshe to do so. What Moshe did was correct. But your assumption that since other prophets can still continue to cohabit with their spouses, therefore power of prophecy doesn't require a man to separate from his wife, that assumption is not true. Because Moshe Rabbeinu, on his level of prophecy, was required to separate from his wife. Whereas you, Miriam, and you, Aaron, and Eldad and Medad will not be required to separate from their wives. Okay? That's the discussion over here. Yeah. Okay, should we finish the Rashi over here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Meir.
Okay, Haisha, a Kushite. So this is a Kushite woman. Magid shakol modim b'yafiyah, b'shem shakol modim b'shachruto shel Kushi. So this tells us, okay, that everyone at
everybody agreed, were unanimous at her tremendous beauty.
Oh, okay.
Kashem, In the same way, Shakol Moedim, everybody agrees, the Shachrusa Shalkushi,
Okay.
that the Kushite is black.
It's black.
Okay? So it's a very interesting why Dafka, such a word is used, such an adjective is used. She was called, well, Rashi is going to speak about this more, right?
No, okay.
Rashi is going to speak about this further, why Dafka this form of adjective was used. But Rashi is explaining over here that she was called Isha Kushis because she was so beautiful. Everybody agrees that she was beautiful in the same way everybody agrees that a Negro, right, a Cushite, is black.
Mhm.
Okay?
Right. Mhm.
Now,
Okay.
Kushis,
Kushit. A bigamatria Yefat Mar'eh. So it's a gematria of Kushit is equal to Yefat Mar'eh.
right. You actually want to know they're both 736.
Oh, okay. Very good. Okay, let's see. Alodot ha'isha. So this is regarding the woman. Alodot gerusheha. Oh, regarding to sending her away.
Oh, so Rashi adds in basically what the Targum says over here. If you look in the Targum over here, on this pasuk, Umaleilas Avram, Umaleilas Miriam v'Aaron b'Moshe. Moshe and Aaron spoke against Moshe al Isak Itzo Shapirta Dinesei, regarding the beautiful woman whom he had married. Are Itzo Shapirta Dinesei Rachik, the beautiful woman whom he had married, okay, he had divorced, he had separated from her.
Uh-huh.
So it's interesting. I mean, they see the Targum adds that word in, which the Torah doesn't say explicitly. Ki isha chushis lokach, and then he had separated from her. So that's Rashi says, Alodos isha, Alodos girusheho.
Uh-huh. Okay, let's see.
Ki isha kushis lokach.
Okay, Hishakshit Lakaka Ma Tamud Lomar. So why does the Torah tell us this? Ella Yesh Lach Isha Na'a Biyafya Ve'ena'a B'ma'aseha. B'ma'aseha V'lo Biyafya Abab Zot Na'eba Kol. So
Right.
what's this? Okay.
So it was, why does it repeat? Ki isha chushis lokach, right? Because whatever we wanted to infer from this pasuk, we've already stated in the first part. So why is it added again? Rashi says, because to tell you that she was a true Isha Chushis, put it that way. She was a true Cushite woman, meaning as black as a Cushi is, so too she was perfect in all her ways.
Oh, okay.
Physically, had physical beauty, and she had beautiful character as well.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Haisha Kushit.
Now, Rashi explains why using the comparison to a Kushis.
Okay. Al-Shem Noya Nikret Kushit Ka'adama Kore Epino Na'eh Kushi Kidei Shelo Tishlot Bo Ayin Ra'ah. Naya is beauty, I guess.
Okay, Isha Kushis, Hashem Noya, account of her beauty. It's called Kushis. It's like you have what's called in Hebrew, where you use the opposite expression to express something in order not to cause ayin hara,
Ah,
not to attract attention.
right.
Okay, we're going to try and keep it as quiet as possible. So you call a beautiful woman, he says, wow, look how ugly she is. Okay,
Okay, one more. Ki isha kushit lakach yata gersha.
Usha. And now he divorced her.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Okay. Interesting.
and then on the next pasuk, actually, we did the Rashi. Let's say, we've actually got about 1 minute left. So that's what we're going to see. And they said, Harak Akba Moshe Diba Hashem. Was it only with Moshe Hashem spoke? Hello, Gambonu Diba. We also spoke again about us, right? With us.
Mhm.
Vayishma Hashem, and Hashem heard. By the way, it's very interesting. It just occurred to me now, this question, and I don't have an answer on the spot. Rashi said at the beginning, Vatidaber Miriam v'Aaron b'Moshe. Okay? That Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moshe. Means they had a tie on him. So what's they saying here? Arak ach b'Moshe diba Hashem. Moshe spoke against Hashem spoke against Moshe. Means Hashem has spoken against us as well. If you're using the same grammatical form or whatever, means Hello, Ach b'Moshe diba Hashem means Hashem spoke against Moshe. Hello, Gambonu diba, he spoke against us as well. Now Rashi obviously